Hey, back from Philly, so back with Kanye West news updates, and goddamn, I should go to Philly more often if it results in Kanye coming back to Twitter. I took off from Austin at 7 p.m., and when I landed in Memphis, I saw that Kanye was on Twitter and was just like freaking out, but having to go to the gate for the next flight to go to Philly, and tweeting about Kanye, reading Kanye tweets, and then have to take off and turn my phone off and just sit there going, Kanye's back on Twitter, maybe tweeting, and I'm missing all of it because I'm on this goddamn plane. So, needless to say, very excited about Kanye being back on Twitter. It's been amazing and interesting to see this philosophy period of Kanye, especially with his last public image that we've all kind of seen being the last of the St. Pablo tour, with those grand speeches and the intensity and just how kind of intense his Twitter account was in 2016 leading up to the silence of 2017. Thinking back to the Wiz Khalifa conversations, the Bill Cosby innocent, to see him kind of be in this St. Pablo version of himself is, I don't know. I'm excited. Very, very excited. Which makes some of these articles fucking atrocious. I'm so angry about some of them. So two things first. The Yeezus book, now on pre-sale, so you can get a copy of it. I think the color actually looks a bit better than what it seems on my screen. These names here pop a bit more, but it's a dope cover by Matthew Revere, and you have Travis and I, Martin Connor from Rap Analysis, who you may remember, he did the Kanye West Deconstructed, The Human Voice is the Ultimate Instrument video for Vox, and a lot of the Vox Rap Analysis videos. That was all him. So you're going to get his sonic deconstruction of Yeezus here, and Donald Martin, who runs the Most Unruly YouTube account, who does these awesome visual deconstructions of Kanye and other hip-hop artists. So he's bringing his analysis and intelligence to bear on Kanye's tour and the lead up to Yeezus. So a lot of good shit. This is some good shit. If you want good shit, this is the good shit to get. Again, you can pre-order. There's going to be some pre-order goodies available. But that's enough of that. Let's get into... Oh, and we also had a new story with Zach O'Malley Greenberg, who's a senior editor at Forbes. You may be familiar with his work Empire State of Mind, which was the Jay-Z biography that came out back in 2010. And he recently... Where's the book at? Recently came out with this, Three Kings, Diddy, Dr. Dre, Jay-Z. So you can see the nice interview I got, or autograph I got from him. So the interview is really cool. Zach comes at Kanye from a very unique perspective, in the fact that, you know, he's been writing at Forbes for a very long time, covering specifically hip-hop and wealth. A lot of insight into Jay-Z, so he talks a lot about Kanye from that perspective of being a journalist, wealth in regard to Jay-Z and Kanye's current stature in the universe of hip-hop, I guess. Like the constellations of hip-hop. I'm trying to think of something that invokes space and stars, but not coming to mind. At least I'm not recording this one at 2:30 in the morning. It's only 11:43 p.m., so getting better. All right, so on to this shit. Is this... Okay, so first one. Danny D. Placido. Speaking of Forbes, Kanye West's Twitter book is raw, unfiltered insanity. And that's going to be a trend for this episode, is the fact that all of these people, when talking about Kanye, seem to not be able to do so without any kind of snark or holier-than-thou attitude. They all seem to treat him almost as like, oh, that crazy Uncle Kanye, and don't take anything that he's saying seriously or considering it in any way that's not presenting them as superior to him in the fact that they get the world more than he does. It's really, I don't know. These all bothered me a lot, so bear with me if I start ranting. So this one is just, book is raw, unfiltered insanity, and through throwing shade on Kanye through these recaps. What's his name again? Danny concedes with, "I've had fun mercilessly mocking the man, but there's one thing I genuinely admire about Kanye West, and it's that he's always true to himself, undeniably so." So he kind of tries to bring it back, but at the same time, it's just so condescending throughout that it's very, very bothersome to anybody that I think has any iota of respect for Kanye. Not to say that Danny probably doesn't respect Kanye, but I don't see how you could write this article with this level of sass and just... and here is another one. Israel Daramola, read Kanye's philosophy book. This is on Spin. So in 1850, Herman Melville spent a year creating and then transforming completely his plans to write an epic tale of man and sea. And they reduce... So she's Israel. I don't know if Israel's a he or she, but Israel takes this concept of Moby Dick, which is heralded as this great work of literature, even though at the time Moby Dick was a flop and nobody loved it and thought it was garbage. And it wasn't until like the 1930s, with Hemingway really being an advocate of Moby Dick and other writers, that it kind of got its second life. And this is after Melville died. So it's kind of funny starting off with this highbrow literary reference with Moby Dick when nobody cared about Moby Dick when it came out. But it kind of undercuts this idea of Kanye tweeting a book. I don't know why I put tweeting in quotes, but just this idea that because Kanye's writing a book on philosophy and it's on Twitter, it seems somehow to pale in the comparison to Moby Dick. And this right here, you see this language again. Indeed, Kanye's book of philosophy is not an actual book, but instead a stream of exasperating advice and guidance that only other wealthy people could benefit from. Like, what the fuck? If you read through the Twitter comments, there are plenty of people who aren't wealthy, just normal people saying that what Kanye's saying inspired them or gave them perspective on something or just helped motivate them. The fact that they're couching this as only other wealthy people, it's just unnecessary, I feel like editorialization from this journalist into an article that is supposed to be about Kanye's tweets, not about this person editorializing to show off that, like, Kanye's tweets are exasperating and the advice sucks. Like, fuck off, Israel. Who are you? You know, and not that you can't say anything because of who you are. I feel I'm entitled to say my piece. But at the same time, like, why tear down Kanye like this when his tweets aren't an attack on anybody? They're not a proclamation against anyone or anything. He's just being a person tweeting about things, and you get work out of it, and yet you're using your opportunity just to... Petty. It's petty. And here I am attacking her work, so I'm doing the same thing to her work. The hypocrisy is not lost on me, but this one's better, a little better. Luke Morgan Britton for Enemy, which there was a good comment about this, about what it actually means. It's not enemy, but it's something else. I'm gonna keep calling it Enemy. So this is getting into the fact that Kanye had tweeted about, this ad's annoying, everything you do in life stems from either fear or love. And in Donnie Darko, they talk about fear and love. So that's a big part of the plot in that. And as you can see, the speech gets at it. Fear and love are the deepest of human emotions. Fear is the negative energy, with Donnie challenging that notion. And if anybody's curious, I wrote a ending explanation to Donnie Darko that gets into a lot of really... It's a good piece. But I'll link that here if you want to read about the ending of Donnie Darko from yours truly. Kanye has said in the past that he doesn't read, so he relies on movies for a lot of his quotes and concepts and ideas. So I don't think it's a stretch to think that Kanye may have been watching Donnie Darko or remembering Donnie Darko, and that's where he got this from. And it's just using that terminology to describe something. This Frank comparison really made me laugh. Yeah, I think that's all there is. As I just kind of space out, I'm just trying to think if there was any comment on this article that I needed to make, but pretty good, pretty good. What else do we got? Would you live your life like Kanye? By R. Eric Thomas. And this gets into Kanye tweeting again and talking about previous eras of Kanye on social media. Unlike previous social media iterations, this Kanye has a singular focus: fixing your life. So more references to the tweets and getting into the idea of, is this advice you should take? So everything's set up, which is kind of clever for an article. It's kind of a twist on what we used to think from, or view BuzzFeed as doing, with just either GIF posts or quizzes. So it's almost a quiz, but you get the options of choosing this or that, this or that, this or that. Clever. I don't know what happens if you click, or you get the percent. Don't trade your authenticity for approval. Who cares what other people think? I'm so me. Still interested in the roar of the crowd. Please retweet. There's a huge cockroach crawling by my foot. Like that big. Thing's gigantic. Well, if it eats me, it fucking eats me. All right. This is an article on the Washington Post. I like the Washington Post for its coverage of the Trump administration, which has been A+ coverage of an F- administration. Fuck off, Trump. Okay, Kanye West's 6 ridiculous Twitter eras, from water bottle hate to stop playing chess with life. I really like the concept of this article from Sonia Rao. I don't know if I necessarily agree with the eras. It summed up the 2016 era, the era of attacking Wiz Khalifa, and just recaps the Wiz Khalifa debates, which I was really hoping for a bit more in the realm of looking at this time and what Kanye was tweeting, rather than just focusing on the one tweet and calling that an era. Or like the I'm so lucky era. Like, what else was he tweeting at this time? Good idea, but especially the Washington Post, all the Pulitzers. I want a little bit more, but it's at least more fair and balanced. Good old Fox News line, but it's a bit more fair than the beginning posts that we saw, which were just, oh god, yeah, it crawled on me. It fucking crawled on me. As you can see, my Kanye shirt. Sporting that. How the fuck does the cockroach crawl on me? Of all the things in this goddamn room, it has to crawl on me. Oy. Well, I'm glad we all got to experience that together. That was nice. I need to catch this fucking thing at some point. I have a cat. Where's the goddamn cat? Where's the goddamn cat? All right, well, on Fader, Lily Puckett, Kanye West is the best Family Feud panelist Steve Harvey has ever seen. And it's true. Steve Harvey says Kanye West was the best panelist he's ever had on the show, celebrity panelist. But the interview with him and Ellen's pretty funny. He dishes on the show and talks about how it's going to be the highest rated episode they've ever done. It comes out in a month, so I guess sometime in May. Very much looking forward to that. This is another annoying article from Time. Katie Lang, who I think I've emailed about covering the show. At one point, just checking for cockroaches. At one point, I emailed like 40 outlets. This was in January of 2017. Like, please write about us. This is our show. We cover Kanye. It's amazing. And nobody, only one person wrote back, and I'm pretty sure it was Katie Lang. So this one, no, Kanye West doesn't like normal TV. Here's what he will watch. And just kind of gets into a little bit about Kanye's conversation with Axel. Oh, I want to get this right. Do they even talk about? Yeah, Axel Verv. Oh, I'm so sorry, Axel. Axel Vervoort. Alex V. Interior designer. Mosquito. Holy shit. You think my home is just filled with insects. It's not. I don't think. There seem to be an awful lot of insects around. All right. So the little bit of the snark that came in is the opposite of normal TV, though, apparently is Kanye-approved media, like the Olympics, documentaries, and films by the only auteur who might be more stringent about his aesthetic than Kanye himself. Which... I mean, I don't watch normal TV. Who watches normal TV these days? I mean, I guess some people watch the local news or watch sitcoms when they air, or mainstream like NBC or ABC, but I feel like most people 18 to 45 are on Netflix, they're on Hulu, they're streaming things. They are watching only for shit like the Olympics or the World Cup or sports. I see that goddamn cockroach. So I don't think that that's that crazy, or that he's excited about going to see Isle of Dogs, which was awesome. But Kanye went to see Justice League earlier, like last year. He went and saw Black Panther. So it's not like he's this... I'm now paranoid by this cockroach. It's not like he's this guy that will only see like the most highbrow shit, you know? So, Katie. But it did link to the article, which we'll get to. It's a really good interview. This one, just getting into shoes. Kanye had shared the rat boot sample. If you're not following Kanye on Twitter and you're watching this, I don't know who you are. You've probably already seen this, but Kanye's been sharing a lot of behind the scenes stuff with fashion, as well as the Break the Simulation tweets. So this is one of those. You can see the wave runners on the ground. There's nothing really about the boots themselves in terms of an analysis or discussion. It's more just a recap article. But it is interesting, I think, seeing the, whatchamacallem, 500s kind of blown up into the rat boot and what that looks like. And what Kanye's been working on it for a long time, trying to give it that Yeezy shape. So, I don't wear a lot of boots, so I don't think I'm personally going to look to cop those, but are you going to cop them? Are you? Are you going to try? Are you? I do like, they just unveiled, what is it, like the purple 500s, and those look kind of fucking awesome, actually. They remind me of something the Joker would wear if Joker was doing streetwear. So this is the article, Predator Reporter on Hollywood Reporter. The Future is Here, design conversation with Kanye West and Chris Gardner. So this is an interview that Kanye did with Axel V. And it's really long, really detailed. Kanye and Axel go back and forth. It's not just Kanye speaking or asking a single question, Axel speaking. They really discuss. So highly recommend. If I had to give like a check out one article from this episode, stamp of approval, it's this one. read this one. Let's see. I want to move this down. We're getting into wavy, unwavy. There was a lot of stuff to cover over the 5 days I was gone, so it's a little bit reduced, which I don't think anybody's going to complain about. So getting into wavy, unwavy. Axel V's very wavy, okay? Very, very wavy. He and Kanye are close. He admires Kanye a lot. Says a lot of good things about Kanye. Kanye, one of his first tweets back was talking about this guy, Gosha Rubichinsky, designing a tattoo for him for his neck that was Saint. As you can see, I asked my friend to design this neck tat for me. And here, Ryan Basil, writing this article himself, tweets that this is a free font from dafont.com. And it's one that Ryan actually made himself. So I agree with this final paragraph, the fact that, like, what's this guy doing? Is he trolling Kanye? Was he just being lazy? Like, what is going on here that resulted in Kanye working with somebody that's a well-known designer that just takes a very basic font? I guess an argument could be made that this font isn't popular. It's not something that's being used. It's obscure, so you're paying a tastemaker that's going to identify something, and this is what this tastemaker identified, and it's not necessarily the original font that's important. It's more just this idea of this is what's going to look good for this tattoo. So I could see that argument. And maybe it's Kanye like the font himself. I don't know. But that's an interesting thing. So Gosha, maybe unwavy, maybe wavy. This article on High Snobiety gets into S. Devlin, who talks about Kanye West. So she is somebody that has worked with a lot of very important musicians, and she focuses on stage design. So she credits Kanye with getting her career started, talking about his dissatisfaction with the materials that were being used and him being demanding about getting things right, and just giving her that, and Kanye giving her an opportunity to get into everything. So a cool insight into Kanye being a career maker, and which is something she brings up herself. Kanye saw my work. He's a man who's behind so many people's careers, isn't he? And yes, he is. So she's wavy. S is wavy. The Hunger Artist will sell toilet plungers with Kanye West's face on them. Westward article. And they don't go into more detail about why. This is going to sound pretty absurd, but I've got plungers that I want to sell with Kanye West's face on them. I would assume if you're matching Kanye with a plunger, it's more of an insult at Kanye. But I question your artistic integrity if you think Kanye isn't an artist and that you are. This is a situation where it seems like if you're an artist with a pretty good outlook, that you would recognize Kanye as an artist with a pretty good outlook, not sell plungers with his face on it. But then again, if you're an artist and you know that you're going to court controversy, and thought I kicked a cockroach, you're going to court controversy and you want to get some media attention. Westward wrote about them. Now I'm talking about them. It's a pretty good way to get your name out there. On Enemy again, this is MIA, article by Sam Moore, just saying that a lot of the music these days feels like shit that her and Kanye West were producing a decade ago. That's the extent of it, but MIA just could have said it's shit that I was producing a decade ago. That she's naming Kanye with her? Wavy. Slick Woods, on life, death, and Kanye West's greatness. So Slick Woods is a model, and she got her start with Kanye. So she talks a little bit about her interactions with Kanye and perception of Kanye. it's just an interesting part in the middle of the interview. So worth checking out, just to get some cool Kanye quotes about Instagram and kind of her view of Kanye having modeled for him. Because his shows, especially Yeezy Season 4, got a lot of flack. And we don't get to hear from a lot of the models, which is probably a good story idea. So to hear from her and her to still be a Kanye fan after that Yeezy Season 4, which was so controversial, I think is telling. Now getting into the... getting into... Not sign up. The last one... Chrissy Teigen invites Kim Kardashian to move in after Kanye West tweets about getting rid of everything. So Kanye had tweeted, sometimes you have to get rid of everything. And Kim had responded with, wait, everything? And Chrissy Teigen said that, this recaps it. I have an air mattress here and I've been itching to bust it out if you need. And Kim... played with it in kind of a serious way, not like a nudge, wink way, but was like, might need some more for the kids, just not clear on what everything really means. I need clarity. Thanks for being such a good friend. Maybe John could call and inquire, but maybe he means friends too. This is confusing. And there were actually places writing that, does this mean there's a rift in Kim and Kanye's relationship? Which just like, Jesus fucking Christ. But... Kim followed this up with a tweet just saying, for anyone who has absolutely no humor in their soul, please know my tweets are a joke and I will die laughing if I see blogs and media really think I'm being serious. Don't even try it. And they tried it. Of course they tried it. They need those clicks. But I thought that was really funny and just goes to show Kim's sense of humor and personality. And interactions with Kanye. I can just imagine her and Kanye next to each other cracking up at the responses. And that's it. That covers everything. I'm going to try to do a shorter pitch here. Don't want you to see my login information, but you can see my email. So if you want to support us on Patreon... we're trying to get up to $300 a month to consistently pay artists to design cool shirts inspired by Kanye. And to get rid of cockroaches in my apartment. So we're at 132, almost halfway there. Really appreciate the people that, I don't know if it's from the show or just our Twitter or podcast or anything that have been jumping on, but if you watch and you subscribed, thank you very much. Getting closer to that goal is very nice, as it's... keeps the money coming from out of our pockets straight up. So very, very appreciated. You can see that goal there, $20,000 per month. We'll create a book of Kanye West memes. It'd be a great book, a great, great book. We would do more than that if we were getting $20,000 a month, but that's just the absurd stretch goal, So if you want to support us financially, that's a great way of doing it. You can also pre-order the Yeezus book. That would be very meaningful for us. Tell your friends about it. If you don't want to support financially, which I 100% get, you can just listen to these YouTube episodes, watch them, watch others. We're trying to get to 4,000 watch hours in a year and 1,000 subscribers. So subscribing or watching both would really help. I think we're at like 275 hours of the 4,000, so we have a ways to go. What else is there? You can follow us on Twitter at Kanye Podcast. You can listen to our podcast, Watching the Throne, a lyrical analysis of Kanye West. That's on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, all of those things. Google Music Play, AudioMack. What else? I think that's it. Or don't do anything. Just keep watching. Anyway, thanks for joining us. If you have any questions that you want us to discuss on any of these future episodes, well then, leave a comment. You know my email because it just appeared on screen, so you can email me, message us on Twitter, any of that shit. Thanks for watching. This was a long one. Until tomorrow. See ya.